Hello, I'm Sorospa, and today I'll be your humble guide through off. So when we last left off, we'd collected three of the four grand items, and the fifth, as it happens, is actually being sold right here. We just need to sell a little bit so we can afford it. And there we go. Meat, smoke, plastic, and metal. And now we're all set. Or at least we would be. But I'm sure I haven't fooled you for a second. After all, there's 5 elements, right? And there's one area in the game that isn't accounted for. Found an item here, 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 and here. Not one here. Poke around in here, we can see that Zachary is here. And he's selling some stuff, but we're not gonna worry about that. We kinda went broke anyway. But there's also something new down here. What's this? So this is the secret boss of the game. And we can use wide angle. See that her name is Sugar. And she has these 4 objects here. And we can just take these out pretty quickly actually. So we don't have to worry about those too much. Unfortunately, the battle with Sugar is not actually all that complicated, but it is definitely long. It is a very long fight, and there's not gonna be much to say during this fight. So maybe it's a good time to discuss some of the theories I have about what we've seen so far. So I'm sure that there are aspects of the story that are pretty well agreed upon by fans, but I don't really know necessarily all that much about, what is commonly agreed upon, but basically my view is that we know, having the correct translation, that Hugo created the batter and he created the queen, and I believe that in fact, all of this whole world is somehow has been created by Hugo. And I think that the chapter in the room where you meet the 3 friends is some kind of memory of the real world outside of this place, which might be um, completely imaginary or some kind of metaphor for real things that happen. And the batter is, I think, fairly obviously meant to be Hugo's father. And it becomes clear that Hugo doesn't really like his father that much, and it's not really hard to see why. And a big hint of all this is the fact that the comic book shows a baseball player villain who the batter seems to be modeled after. So that's kind of where I get the idea that this is all some kind of imaginary world, is that the batter is somehow an imaginary version of Hugo's father, and since Hugo doesn't like his father, he imagined him as the villain from the comic book. Now, if we're assuming that all of this isn't real, and it's some kind of metaphor for something else, then that's we have to kind of fit the events together into some kind of alternate meaning, and that's honestly where I'm not quite sure. I should have used healing. I'm not really quite sure what to do there, because you can kind of take that basic idea of this world being imaginary and run with it, but the details of the so-called real world are a little bit hard to put together. It seems to take place in some kind of alternate, or kind of wasteland, some kind of post-apocalyptic world where the land is torn apart and the world is, like, time is broken. It's very strange. So I don't quite know. I'm getting all messed up here. I don't quite know what to make of it exactly. It's difficult. I think that there's got to be something that's the game is trying to put across that I'm not really quite picking up on. We do kind of have reason to maybe doubt that the Guardians are really evil, seeing as how they're portrayed in the apparent real world. And if we're seeing them filtered through the viewpoint of the batter, who is probably not the most reliable narrator. Although if this world is created by Hugo, it would seem weird that the Guardians are filtered through the batter's viewpoint. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, or maybe I'm still underthinking it. I honestly, I couldn't tell you. There's a lot to take in. One interesting piece of information which has been confirmed officially is that it has been said, this is word of God here, that that Hugo is human and the batter and the queen are not. So that definitely supports the view that they are made up beings. They're not real humans. In which case, what does purification mean? And are any of the events literal? Like, are we meant to take from this that Hugo's dad is running around killing people, or is that some kind of allegory for something else? I really don't know. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. This is definitely one of those kinds of games that admits a lot of different kinds of interpretations. And what bothers me is the fact that I haven't been able to put together any interpretation of the game that fits with even most of the details of the story and the events. And when you really stop and think about it, this world seems kind of almost too fleshed out, too complete, and too thorough in its own internal logic to imagine that it's just entirely a metaphor. So I'm really not sure what it all means. But it's I don't know. Maybe, you know, maybe if I hold up the pieces, maybe they'll start to come together for you. Maybe you'll see something that I am not, or maybe it'll make sense to you in a way that doesn't make sense to me. It's definitely interesting, and I guess one of the reasons I do still have an interest in the game is the fact that there's still so much I can think about how it all fits together. One thing I'd actually forgotten was the end. The end of that chapter. Hey, we won. The end of that chapter where it has Hugo talking about the three friends and has the three add-ons pop up. So are the Guardians parallel with the add-ons in some way? I don't know what to make of that either. That just every little detail seems to make it harder to make sense of what it all means. I'm honestly not sure. In any case, we have all 5 elements now. So let's have a chat with Zachary. We could certainly take the Ashley bat, but we need the Ares card for something special. So we're going to take it. Say about it. access to the room again. Permits access to a secret place. Alright, so, oh yeah, there's no way out here. So I think I'm gonna call that an episode. And we will explore the endings, such as they are, next time. So I hope to see you there.